Hello everyone, this is Fabio and I'm back again with a new video and especially another list. Yes, these are easier to make in a way, and this is another list that I need to do uh, since it's something that I started doing last year and I really enjoyed the idea. Basically, I'm going to rank my favorite movies of 2018. Since yesterday I did my top favorite games of the year, now it's time for the movies I've watched in cinema throughout the years. So basically, I'm going to base this list on the movie tickets, there you go, that I've kept, and ranking the movies from my least favorite to my favorite. Everything obviously it's based on my taste, all of that. So it's not based on, like, for example, this list, this kind of ranking really perplexes my brother because he thinks more like on a yearly basis, like from Oscar season to Oscar season. Basically, for me, it's simpler. I just base the movies from January to January, basically. Maybe it's not the correct way. I don't care. I like it this way. It's easier for me based only on what I have. So the tickets from cinemas. I watched 14 movies in cinemas last year, basically a bit more than one per month, which is good. That's fine. I watched a bit of everything, which is even better. And let's just start it so I can spend a few words on said movies. So, at number 14, we start with obviously, again, this movie from the first, even when I considered watching this with my brother, because basically one afternoon we didn't know what to do. So I said, well, let's go to the cinema. Why not? This was in late July. And this was the only thing we were kind of willing to watch, and we knew it was not going to be good. But we said, well, at least maybe we'll have a good time because like the songs are nice, we like that. Hopefully, again, we're going to pass a pleasant couple of hours, and in a way, we did. Obviously, the movie could not have any sort of expectations. I wasn't expecting to have like the time of my life. But we're starting with number 14 with Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. Yes, I watched that movie. Not ashamed to say, because I don't mind ABBA songs, actually. They're enjoyable. And for the most part, the cast, they're pretty good at singing. Um, it was hilarious to see Cher by the end of the movie. She still has her amazing voice, but she's as stilted as it can be. I mean, she can barely move. She's basically kept together with glues or something. But I mean, it was an enjoyable movie for what it was. I wasn't expecting nothing special. I mean, it's Mamma Mia. But yeah, there's not much to say. Obviously, it's my least favorite of the movie, but of the year because it's Mamma Mia. But I have a fun time watching it. I'm not ashamed to say because in a way, I actually prefer Mamma Mia over the next movie. That might be my most disappointment or the most disappointing of the year. At a number 13, we got The Darkest Hour. This movie was bad. I really didn't like it. The thing is, I love reading. As you know, like I work in history. I'm a history buff. I've always been, and I was interested in the idea, like a movie about Churchill and all of that. And I didn't read much about it. That's the problem. And everyone, so I was expecting it was like a movie about Churchill would be interesting if they focused on less obvious parts of his life, like when he was prime minister during World War II and all of that, because obviously here in England they need to praise him as this national hero and everything. It's fine. Obviously, I'm not criticizing him, but personally, I wanted like a movie based on Churchill after his huge fiasco at Gallipoli, since that was his brainchild, basically. I wanted something like that. It would be original, just not to look only at him as the savior of the world, basically. He's the only one who stand against Hitler, kinda. And but I want to see like lights and shadow of such an interesting and important figure in 20th century history, but of course not. And obviously, let's talk about the elephant in the room to me. Gary Oldman's performance. I mean, I love Gary Oldman. Who doesn't? He didn't deserve an Oscar for this. That's so undeserved, I think. It's not that good. I mean, it's all about the makeup, which it's very more and more common these days with these actors. It's the makeup does like 95% of the job in these sort of Oscar-worthy performance. And again, it's not that good. I mean, it's the way he speaks. It's so annoying, and I was really. It was kind of like nails on a chalkboard to me. It was. I really didn't like it. But I remember like a friend of mine after watching this movie said, "Oh, this is a fantastic movie, Gary Oldman. It's so good." I was like, "No, it's not." I was really fighting him in a way because to me, the big problem is that year he literally stole the Oscar from Timothée Chalamet from. Oh my God! Call Me by Your Name. There you go. That's completely blanking on the title. I mean, his performance in that movie was mind-blowing, considering how young he is. Well, Gary Oldman did this really anonymous performance to me. Not that good. I mean, it did much better in other roles, but just because he had all this makeup and all of that, he managed to win the Oscar. It was terrible movie. Probably it's my least favorite, but I have to admit, Mamma Mia was I don't know. I'm kind of uncertain between the two because I really dislike The Darkest Hour. Absolutely, probably my least favorite serious movie because Mamma Mia was a silly movie. I knew what I was going into. Darkest Hour was expecting a decent movie the way people were talking about it and praising the performance of the actors and everything. It was kind of bad. So, really didn't like it. So at number 12, we got The Post. Now, this is a good movie. Yeah, let's keep it like this. I was not sure to keep this or the next one again. But again, now let's keep it like this. Like The Post is a good. I love my journalistic investigation movie. Like, for example, a fantastic movie. A movie like this that I love. It's Spotlight, All the President's Men. Truth. I love this movie based on like journals and investigation by journalists. Always liked it since I was a kid. This was just nothing special. The potential was there. It's interesting. It's all about basically what will bring the Watergate. If I remember correctly, it's all about like the Vietnam War and all of this. I think it was the Watergate. I don't remember. I watched this in January almost a year ago, so I don't remember very well. The main cast, obviously, there's Meryl Streep, Tom Hanks, like both of them, but they were kind of unnoticeable performances. I mean, they were good, but they could do so much better. But this was a pleasant movie. I enjoyed it, but compared to those movies I mentioned before, like especially like probably my favorite journalistic movie of all time has to be Spotlight. That was amazing. Truth was also very good. The Post was good, but not that good. I was expecting much better. I absolutely love it. I remember the scenes when they showing like the printing process of the journal, something that in a way you can consider a dying art almost today with our always online and stuff. That was very interesting in a way. It's always good to remember how important journals are actually and news are in our world. Considering the times, I'm just going to say that. So number 12, The Post. A good movie, but I was expecting much better. Number 11, we got what could it be one of the biggest disappointment of the year. I mean, nothing can top Darkest Hour. That movie was bad. This was not bad because it started really strong, but after like the first third of the movie, it really went downhill really fast, and I was just scratching. Both me and my brother were scratching our heads. Said like, "What happened to the movie? Where did it go? Where did the good stuff go?" And then it's the children act. The main reason to watch this movie is obviously because of Emma Thompson's performance, but I don't need something like this to being reminded that she's a great actress. I know that already. She's a fantastic actress. And she's amazing in this movie, especially, as I said, at the beginning of the movie. It's excellent. It's very interesting about like this kid with a very serious heel. I think it's leukemia or something like that. And she is a judge here in London at the Royal Courts of Justice. She's it's her duty to look at this case because like there is the problem. This kid is like almost 18 years old, so it's still a minor. There is a problem of religious belief. He needs to have a blood transfusion, but his religion forbids something like that. All this very interesting, extremely interesting and controversial stuff that we had recently all over the world. Like this case of like where is like the boundaries of the law in this sort of ethical and matters where medicine is involved. It's extremely interesting. And as I said, the first third of the movie, it's all focused on that, and it's brilliant. Especially like the interaction between her, who is absolutely amazing as the judge, and this young actor I cannot remember his name, I'm sorry, but he's really good at the beginning of the movie. But all of a sudden, both my brother and I thought that the movie was going to be that. It's going to be this case, the interaction between the two of them related to the case. But no, after half an hour, basically the case is over. And we say, oh, okay, that's very sudden. What's going to happen the rest of the movie? And the movie, it's not good after that. It's a big disappointment because it started so well. And she's amazing as the judge. I cannot stress how good she is at the beginning of the movie. There is like the personal story of her and her husband, played by Stanley Tucci. Again, he's a good actor, but in this movie, it's completely unnecessary. And the whole like cheating and stuff like that, who cares about that? And the fact that after the case, the kids start stalking her in a way, I mean, that's not necessary. Focus on the good stuff. So a movie with a lot of potential started really well, but took a really bad decision. I think the problem is mainly the screenplay or something like that. Because, as I said, it's a good idea. They should have focused on the good stuff, but they focus on the bad stuff after, as I said, just a third of the movie. So very disappointed, but a real big missed opportunity, to say. So I think this was like number 11. So we're entering the top 10 with Leave No Trace. Very interesting, beautiful to watch, a good soundtrack, I remember. But at the end of the day, it really didn't change my life. I didn't know what to expect in a way. I just read a brief synopsis of the movie. I was in Bristol with my brother, and because most of the time I watch movies with my brother, since we absolutely love doing that together. So again, we didn't know what to do, and we said, what's in the cinemas? And we saw this Leave No Trace. There was something that caught our attention other than the plot, which is curious. I cannot remember if the main character is a war veteran or something, but he decided to live completely isolated in nature together with his daughter. But then there is this, I think, something they're not really forced to live with other people, but kinda, I think. I don't remember it very well. I remember after a while, like, he has an accident, he's injured, but it's all about this sort of like isolating himself from society. And even at the end, when he decided to go on its own, leaving his daughter behind, all of that, it's a good movie, but it didn't tell me much in a way. I mean, it's nice to watch. It's a nice movie. I cannot say anything wrong about it. It's just nothing too special for my taste, and I don't remember much about it because of that, it didn't leave much of an impact. Or I just remember it was a nice, pleasant movie, but that's about it. Next, at number 9, we got another sort of not at all. This is not a disappointment. I liked it. Obviously, it's number 9. But I think this movie was kind of overrated. It was considered like amazing, very funny and sarcastic and all that, and then it's Lady Bird. A very nice and charming movie for the most part, but not as good as most people said, to be honest. I like the performance of the main actress. I cannot remember the names, obviously, because I watched this in March. How can I remember stuff from March? The thing that really perplexes me, I remember, was the ending of the movie. It was very sudden, very abrupt. It's like, oh, we don't know what to do next. Cut. The end. End credits. I was like, really, like, oh, it's over. That's weird. Overall, it's a charming coming-of-age movie, and the main actress and her mother are both great. The relationship is great. The family, it's funny. Overall, I really enjoyed it, but the way people talked about it was like the next coming of Jesus, basically. I was like, well, it's not that good. It's a really nice movie, but it's not a masterpiece. So again, I don't remember so much about it, but overall, it was a really enjoyable movie. I'm happy that I saw it. It's simply, again, I thought it was a bit overrated, and especially the ending was really out of nowhere in a way. So I think it's number 9. I'm easily losing count this today, contrary to yesterday, but it's fine. So number 8, we got the first movie I actually saw last year, and that is All the Money in the World. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room here. This is the movie who's supposed to have Kevin Spacey, and this is the beginning of the whole Kevin Spacey disaster, and soon after the Me Too movement and all of that. Okay, this is going to be tough. Personally, I'm not going to go into that. Plenty has been said about that. That's not my place to judge and all of that. I'm just saying, in my opinion, just as a movie viewer, moviegoer, I think this movie suffered because Kevin Spacey was not there. I'm just saying this for a movie, as an actor, not as a human being. I'm not talking about that. However, now I cannot remember. I remember watching the original trailers with Kevin Spacey as the old Getty. It was amazing because Kevin Spacey was phenomenal as playing the bad guy, the cold, calculating, not necessarily villain, but of course we all saw House of Cards. Is basically playing an old Frank Underwood, kinda. While in comparison, Christopher Plummer, who plays the old Getty instead of Kevin Spacey, it really doesn't give the same vibe. I mean, it's good, it's really good. I'm not saying that, but you couldn't think about like this would it be so much better with Kevin Spacey. This is just my personal opinion on the movie. It's such a fascinating and interesting story, though. Like the young Charlie Plummer is amazing as the young Getty. Strangely enough, I really enjoyed Michelle Williams' performances. I really don't like her. She's one of my least favorite actresses. But she was good in this movie. I'm happy to admit she was really good. It's a fantastic. It's a really well-made movie about the famous Getty kidnapping in Italy. That was fun. Very, very interesting. All this, seeing this, like that. All, of course, as the title said, all the money in the world. Like, of course, at the time, Getty was the richest guy on the planet, or one of the richest. Just was so attached to his money that he couldn't give a shit about his nephew or something like that. When he said, like, are you willing to pay the ransom? No. I was like, whoa. And just but at the same time, I couldn't remove the image of my mind. Like, with Kevin Spacey would have been better. But overall, I really enjoyed the movie. It was really good. I really liked it. It was a great way to start a year. At number 8, I think. Maybe. Next. Here we go. Solo, a Star Wars story. Probably one of the most discussed movie in the entire world. We all know about the crisis of the Star Wars franchise. I mean, Star Wars is one of the biggest thing for me. I grew up watching Star Wars. Who doesn't like Star Wars, kinda, nowadays? Last Jedi, really, really, really left a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not necessarily a hater of the movie, but it's my least favorite Star Wars movie, probably. There are so many problems and issues, especially from a storytelling perspective. That movie's a disaster. It's amazing to watch it. It has some good moments. I'm happy to admit it, but it really shat all over the possibilities opened by Force Awakens. So, as we know, Solo had a lot of problems in production and everything. People boycotted the movie. We know it did terribly at the box office, considering that it's a Star Wars movie. There is the whole Rotten Tomato controversy about it. What do I think about it? It's okay, actually. I liked it more than Last Jedi, to be honest. It's nothing special. I don't know what people was expecting from a movie like this. Again, I love Star Wars, but it's a Star Wars movie. I was not expecting the meaning of life in it. First and foremost, I never wanted a Han Solo movie. We don't need it. That we didn't need it. That's for sure. I absolutely never wanted a Han Solo movie, but I saw it. It was alright. I still haven't bought the DVD yet, even though it's Star Wars. Usually I bought them day one. That's how much I don't care about this movie. I will buy it eventually when it's like next to nothing, because I don't want to spend too much money on that, because again, it's a mediocre movie. It's not necessarily bad. I mean, it's okay, but I was really indifferent towards it, which is really sad because it's Star Wars, but I really don't like the direction they went since Force Awakens, to be honest. There are so many issues already with that, even though I liked it. But at the end of the day, yes, it's just episode 4 on steroids. It's nothing special. Though it was very exciting to finally have a Star Wars movie after so many years. The Last Jedi, as I said, it's just a clusterfuck of problems. Let's see what they're gonna do with episode 9. I loved Rogue One. That's the best movie of the new series, basically, and that's a gigantic spin-off. So we'll see. But I was absolutely not impressed with Solo. But again, I didn't hate it. I mean, the characters were alright. Nothing to say about Han Solo's. I don't even remember his name. Performance. What's her name? I don't even remember. She's famous for Games of Thrones. I don't know her name, but she's a mediocre actress again. I like the guy who played Lando. It was fun. The droid is probably the worst droid in Star Wars history. Easy. So, good job. So yeah, I mean, the part on the spaceship and all of that was fun. The effects were good, but a very, very forgettable movie, and it's sad to say it about the Star Wars movie because I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but so sad. Next, we got Avengers Infinity War. Again, I don't have much to say about this movie because I don't really care about superhero movies, but a friend of mine, she really wanted to see it because on the other hand, she loves these movies. And on the other hand, like, I like Avengers, like the whole heroes. I don't want to see the individual movies of the individual superheroes. I don't care. Avengers, the big thing. Yeah, sure, why not? And I enjoyed it. I like the direction they went. Very interesting. I like some of the moments. I like Thanos and all of that. Very good job, but I don't have much to say. It's a superhero movie on steroids, basically. So it's fun if you. It did a shit ton of money, of course. So yeah, good job. I don't know what to say. It's Avengers. So let's move on. I think this is number 6. No, we're at number 5 actually. Now we're into interesting territory with the top 5. And this is the last movie I saw in 2018. And there is a lot to say. I mean, my brother and I discussed this movie for at least 3 hours just after watching it. At number 5, we got Suspiria by Luca Guadagnino. After we watched Call Me By Your Name and we were blown away because it's such a fantastic movie, I was really surprised that he was going to touch Suspiria by Dario Argento, which it's kind of like a holy grail of Italian giallo horror, which, by the way, there you go. And this is a really good movie, though not my favorite by Dario Argento by a long shot. I would say Deep Red, it's much better already. And The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, it's probably my favorite. But Suspiria, the thing is with both movies, again, I can talk for hours about Suspiria. It has an amazing lore. The lore in Suspiria and the entire trilogy of the Three Mothers, it's just excellent. The problem is neither movies really exploit this lore. The first movie, just like most early Dario Argento movies, it's extreme. I really love like the colors, the way he directs, the music. It's phenomenal in the original movie. Goblin did a fantastic job. Although I don't know if it's which one it's better between Suspiria and Deep Red. It's really difficult to say. Suspiria, though, it's really atmospheric in terms of music. The new movie, the Guadagnino movie, was really hyping the fact that Tom York did the music, but it was kind of an afterthought in a way. It was like, oh yeah, the music was nothing special. It was good, but considering the hype, it was certainly didn't live to the expectation. A lot of people say the movie's too long. It didn't feel long to me. The main problem of Suspiria to me, it's the last part of the movie, basically. The final act, it's what almost ruined the entire movie. There are 6 acts or something. So let's say 6, maybe there are just 5, I don't remember, but let's say 6. The first 5 are excellent, because Guadagnino, it's a really good director. He pays a lot of attention to details, and he always push like for beautiful stuff in this movie, like dresses and again like the scene, everything, because he worked a lot in like fashion as a director for like fashion movies and stuff like that. So you can definitely tell that. But he's an excellent director. What's her name? Oh my god, I'm so bad today with names. Well, I cannot remember it now. The Tilda Swinton. Fuck that. I just have such a hard time with names today. Tilda Swinton, she is amazing as Madame Blanc. Even though my brother and I always call her Madame Blanche because we like the sound better, but it's she's really good, to the point that I think she should be at least nominated for an Oscar as like supporting actress. That's how good she is. I think it's Dakota Johnson, the main character. She's good for the most part. The problem, as I said, again, like it's very well directed. It's interesting. The music, it's good, though not excellent. Everything was fine. The fact that it is a long movie, but the fact that it didn't wait on us, it's a good sign. The problems and what almost ruined the entire experience was the last act, as I say, when there is the whole ritual, because Suspiria and the Three Mothers trilogy, it's all about witches, basically. So there is this entire ritual led by the 2 main witches of this dance academy, like Madame Blanc and Madame Marcos, basically. And it's bad. That's when all the horror and gore of the movie, because Suspiria, it's a horror movie. All the horror, basically, most of the horror and the gore, especially the gore, they really become like the forefront of the movie, and it's goofy, to say the least. I don't know what Guadagnino was smoking when he decided that Marcos should look like that toad of a person, basically. Why do we need this naked, old, awful, like disgusting old lady? That was not necessary. I mean, I know a problem with that, but it was so. I was like, why is she like that? She looks like a toad. It's ridiculous. and the whole thing, the reveal of the mother of uh, mother Suspiriorum, the mother of sights, and that she invokes death and blows up other witches and all of that. That was so over the top and goofy that was like, what the fuck is going on? That scene went on for way too long and was not very well made. Uh, so it didn't ruin the movie, but it was very close because I say again, the obvious instincts. The first thing in my mind was, what the fuck are they doing? They ruined the movie with something so awkwardly and goofy. Because I'm not disturbed by gore and stuff like that. I don't care up to a certain point, and that was certainly not the point because I said it's ridiculous. At least to me, it was. One thing that I should say, like the most disturbing part of the movie, without all the over-the-top gore, was in the beginning, the scene of the dance, which is probably an amazing piece of cinematography thing, with the protagonist doing this dance, the folk, and by doing this, she's moving another student of the academy and killing her by twisting her body in this terrible position with the noise of the bones. It's so disturbing, but amazingly done. And as I said, like the lore behind the movie is fantastic. It's the strength of both movies, and neither movies really exploited it, which is a shame. So my recommendation with Suspiria is to watch both of them. That's for sure. In a way, I don't think this movie was as well received as they hoped, or I don't know how much money it did. I hope Guadagnino is smart enough to try to, if he wants to continue the Three Mother trilogy's remake, I hope he does Inferno, for example, because the potential is there, but I don't think there it's so much untapped potential with these movies, which is a shame. But definitely at number 5, Suspiria. Number 4, we might have the surprise of the year, because I really didn't expect this movie to be this interesting. And I saw this at the BFI Film Festival here in London, which is almost always an event to see interesting movies way before their times. For example, this took place in October, and I couldn't. There was the chance to see like the first screening of Suspiria there, but of course tickets were expensive and gone after a couple of days. So at the film festival, I watched The Realm. This is a Spanish movie all about corruption, but it's done in a very interesting way. Especially like the story doesn't follow like an obvious progression in a way. There is this the member of a major unnamed Spanish party involved in a big corruption scandal within its own party, and how like the party just start cutting all the bridges with him, while at the same time he tries to understand what's going on, because at the same time he's not entirely innocent either. Of course, he's not just this hero on a crusade, because it's a very gray kind of character. And I especially love the ending, because I was expecting, for example, there is a scene when you think he's going to get killed, but he managed to survive the attack on him. And also at the end there is this really cool scene when he's interviewed on a journal, so it kind of maybe have an effect on this castle of cards, basically. And I remember I especially love the ending, like since the journalist, she does a really strong question, basically like, are you sorry for what you did, or something, not like this, but something. I was like, that's a cool way to end a movie about corruption. But highly recommend The Realm if you have any chance to watch it. It's always interesting to see movies from other countries which are usually not as forefront as others. So I don't have a big knowledge and access to Spanish movie, and this was really cool. I loved it from beginning to end. Number three, we got The Wife. And the main reason this movie is ranked as high as it did is because of the fantastic performance by Glenn Close. She better wins. They better give her the Oscar. I mean, she was amazing, in my opinion. The movie is good. It's a very interesting story. and I like, as I say, I like the main strength of the movie. It's her, because the rest of the movie it's not as good. I mean, it's a good movie, but it's really pushed by her amazing performance as the wife of this old writer in the process of winning the Nobel Prize for Literature. But then you discover the shadows behind all of this and the truth behind this writer and his family and everything. Really well made and amazing performance by an amazing Glenn Close. Highly recommend The Wife. Number 2, I'm kind of surprised, but not at the same time, that this movie is so high, but I absolutely loved it. Mission Impossible Fallout. We got a pure action movie as my second favorite of the year. I watched this movie twice already, both in cinemas, on my own, because like it was a late Monday night. I had nothing to do. No one was available. I said, well, you know what? I'm going to the cinema. I don't mind going on my own at times. I watched this. I was blown away. It's easily my favorite Mission Impossible movie. It's one of my favorite action movies that I can remember recently. I mean, together with John Wick and some of those. I mean, easily one of the best action movies of this past decade, I can say. Which is kind of rare, because like good action movies like they used to do in the 80s and early 90s, they're not as common as they used to be. It's the excellent conclusion, I would say, of the Syndicate saga, since it started at the end of Mission Impossible 4. It's the main plot of Mission Impossible 5, Rogue Nation, and it basically ends with Fallout. Tom Cruise is great as Ethan Hunt. The rest of the cast is great. I love. Well, let's move on. I cannot remember all these names, but all the main characters, with the exception of the character of Luther, because of course I cannot remember the names. I'm so unprepared. I didn't write it down. I mean, it was alright. It's always been in the Mission Impossible series, but it didn't work as well in this one. It was a shame that Jeremy Renner was not in this movie, but he was busy with Avengers, even though I don't even think he was there, or his role was minimal. What's his name? Henry Cavill? I cannot remember well, but the actor who plays Superman, he is amazing as the bad guy. He is a beast in this movie. I absolutely loved his performance with the famous mustache, because he was making this movie with the mustaches, and at the same time he was making the Justice League movie. There was the whole controversial that he could not cut the mustaches because like the company would have paid millions for it. It was hilarious. Read about that. It's really hilarious about the mustaches of Superman. So they had to remove them like with bad CGI or something. It was hilarious. So number 2, amazing. I loved it. I bought the DVD recently. We're trying to do a Mission Impossible marathon with my brother, because I also inducted him to it, because he always snubbed it in a way, because he's not an action movie kind of guy. But I thought, let's give it a shot. They're fun movies. And now he absolutely loves them. So number 2, Mission Impossible Fallout, fantastic action movie. And number 1, interesting enough, because we're going back all the way to January. This is basically the second movie I saw in 2018, but it's by far the best, I would say, as the overall impact of the movie, the acting, the music, everything was fantastic. Absolutely loved it. Everybody talked a lot because he already won plenty of Oscars. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, of course. Amazing movie. The performances were fantastic, especially, I cannot remember her name, of course. Don't ask me the name of the main actress. She was superb as the main character of the movie. Absolutely loved it. Everything about it. Love the story, love the themes, love the characters, love the music. But especially, I would say, the performances of the main character were so good. particularly, I would say, because Woody Harrelson also was nominated for like Best Supporting Actor or something, and it was good, but it was not as present in the movie as the other police officer. Again, I cannot remember his name, but he totally deserved. I think he won the Academy Award for like Supporting Actor. It was a Dixon, I thought. I think his character was named. It was really really good. So from start to finish, loved it, absolutely loved it. And without a doubt, my favorite movie of 2018. So Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. So there you have it, my list of the best, or let's say my personal favorite movies I watched last year. We're done with this as well. So I'm done with the list for 2018. I can move on to different videos now. Hopefully I'll find the time to make them. I have some ideas. We'll see, as I say, let's see if I find the time. So that's it for now. Just definitely let me know what you think about these movies, if you saw them, about my comments. Very curious to know what you think, guys. So thanks so much for watching. Like always, I'll see you next time, and take care.